Hello, everyone, and welcome back to part two of the Sellouts. Oh, I already fucked it.
That's
Welcome
right.
back to episode two of the Sellouts podcast. This is part two of us ranking our top 20 favorite albums. I'm joined once again by my co-host and best mate, Jordan. How you going today?
Chief, how are
Yeah,
you?
right. Pretty tired. Had a long shift last night. Didn't get home till 2:30, so in the morning. And now we're recording
Oh,
at 10. So
well, yeah. Sorry. It was my fault that we're recording this early, so I'm sorry about
yeah, it's all
that.
good. You know, I'm always
um,
committed.
yeah, I know we are. Well, I know that
Yeah.
you are definitely. Um, so last episode we spoke about our honorable mentions and waffled, I guess, a bit at the start. So now we're just going to get into the chunk. So just before we get into the continuation of our list, 18 through to whatever it is. I thought we might clarify the rules, our only rule actually of the entire countdown. So what we're doing is we've got a limit on how many artists per album as well. Um, or is it the other way around? Album per artist. We've only got
What one album per artist?
one album per artist, exactly right.
Yeah.
That just means that a band that we really like, we can't just choose five of them and chuck them in our top 10.
Yeah.
Just thought we'd make that uh, actually say that rather than not say it because just avoid people being confused or whatever else. So hopefully no one is now.
All right.
Okay,
Number 18. This is another band, and I know you know this
it's
band
another
because
band, is it?
it's another band. They also released another album with music on it. Um, and I know you have, I'm not sure if you listened to it, but I know I gave you this CD. And I remember you felt bad because you gave it back to me and you accidentally cracked it, the case. I don't know if you remember or not, because I do. Because every time I listen to the
Of course you
album,
do.
I see the cracked on the front and I'm like, fucking Jordan.
Oh, Jesus. What was it?
Pearl Jam 10.
Ah,
Do you remember
yeah,
or
I
not?
do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
I tried to wipe it from my memory, I think, because I
Yeah.
I despise damage to CDs, so I probably did feel
Yeah.
really bad
I
about it.
remember I remember how bad you felt.
Yeah.
It's all good. Um, yeah, this is I don't know. This is another band from like the 90s grunge when I was in my uh grunge sort of phase. I say it's a phase. I still love this era of music. And this album is just like a masterpiece 90s album. Every song is just perfect, in my opinion. Um, and I feel the same with, I guess, what you say with Diorama, that I'm surprised it's actually this low because it's just so phenomenal.
Mm.
Um, every, like all the riffs, Eddie Vedder's vocals, the musicianship, everything is just perfect 90s grunge. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those albums you got to listen to it. Um, my favorite song
It's
on it is called Jeremy. Sorry.
oh no, sorry. I was just going to say that this album has the like commercial effect of being popular as well. Um,
Yeah.
but it's one of those albums that's popular because it's good. Um,
Yes, it's amazing. Yeah.
yeah,
Have you? Do you listen to it when I gave it
yeah,
to you or not?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ah, okay. See.
Probably too much. That's why it's unusable now.
No, the disc was fine. There was a small crack on the case, which
No,
I'd
damn it.
rather that than the cracked disc. It's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, my favorite song is Jeremy. Just because I don't know, just the way it's written. It's based on a true story. Um, the story behind it, it's pretty heavy. I'm trying to keep it somewhat lighthearted, but it's about a kid that was sort of a loner at school, this and that. And then one time it's show and tell, he decided to end his life in front of his class. Uh, and it's just Eddie Vedder just sings about it in just such a I don't know how to word it, but it's a very powerful song, very very
Right.
powerful song.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, there's a lot of it's a very heart wrenching album. There's even a song on there called Black. that's just like that hits you in the feels as well. Um, yeah, I know it's just an album you've got to listen to it.
Correct
Yeah,
me if I'm wrong. Even Flow's the only song on there that's not one word. Is that right?
sounds all right. Let me really quickly double check that.
Sorry,
But
I'm just trying to flex what I know and what I don't know.
incorrect. I should have known this off
Oh,
the top of my head. The other one is called Why Go. Like what?
okay,
Like yeah. But
right,
other than them two, yeah, they're all one word.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've got, yeah. They're a band that I've listened to, but I've never really um gone further than just the odd casual listen. Um,
Yeah.
but I've got full respect for them as pioneers of the kind of grunge era.
Yeah.
Um, absolutely.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Rightio. So
Alrighty.
my
So
number
what's
18.
yes.
Yeah. It is an album that I think you respect. Actually, I know that you do. I don't think you listen to it often, but I know you respect it. Self-titled Rage Against the Machine.
Oh.
Yep. I love this album. I think it is a close to perfect album, in my opinion, on the metal side. Um, kind of, they're kind of pioneers in a way as well. I mean, who was doing this except for the Chili Peppers, um, but less heavy. There
I,
wasn't really
I
anyone doing this.
yeah, I would say Rage did it better because I think Chili Peppers like the very early stuff was sort of like it sounded like uh, in a jokey way. It was Rage Against the Machine. It's very serious, like talking about political stuff, and it's just
Yeah,
heavy
they're
as
dead serious.
fuck. You know? Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I think Tom Morello is underrated as not only a guitarist
Oh,
but a riff maker, a songwriter.
love Tom Morello, man.
I
Dude's
love his
unreal.
tone. I love his
Yeah,
sound. I know I think we share an unpopular opinion with that. Um,
yeah,
but I disagree with anyone that says Tom Morello is not amazing.
yeah.
Um,
There's just
and
times
the rest of the band
where
as well.
you're listening. There's just times where you're listening to Rage, where you're hearing sound, and you're like, "What is that?" And you watch like them play it live, and you see it's Tom on the guitar, and you're like,
Yeah,
"That's he's
exactly.
making that sound come out of that."
Yeah, I know. It's
What?
unbelievable.
You know,
Yeah.
it's so dude's a whiz.
Um, yeah, absolutely. I just think the songs flow really well with each other.
Yeah,
Um, I love the transitions between them. I think um, obviously Killing in the Name is a very good song,
iconic. Yeah,
iconic song. Um, I think Know Your Enemy is arguably the best metal song ever.
that's a big call.
That's why I said arguably.
Yeah,
I just have so much fun listening. Well, it's definitely sorry. Well, okay, I'll answer that. It's one of my favorite metal songs ever. How about that?
yeah. I was gonna say that's a
Um,
big call.
I just I love the riff. I love the 3-piece sound in can't remember which solo it is, but it's one of the solos. It's the perfect 3-piece sound. I love me a good 3-piece. Just bass
Yeah,
driving away with solos where the guitar solo is going off and just the drums
yeah. The bass and the
uh,
drums is locked in.
just tying everything down.
Yeah,
But this album, it is for a debut album. It is easily their best. I will fight anyone that says this is
yeah,
not their best album.
yeah.
Um, and it just shows the skill level of everyone. Zach is fine as a singer. As a front man, he's awesome. I think he's fine as a
Mm.
singer. I prefer Audio Slave's lineup to Rage Against the Machine's lineup
Oh,
personally.
Chris Cornell, man, he's like one of the best
It's
singers ever.
yeah, it's kind of cheating if you throw
Yeah,
Cornell's name in there, but that's not taking away from what these guys did in
yeah,
the very very early '90s, which I'm a massive fan of. Um,
yeah,
I just think, yeah, as I said, they've got some very underrated riffs and just tones. Um, I can't say too much more. It's just an album that I love listening to every time I put it on.
yeah. It's a awesome album. Yeah,
Yep.
I totally agree. I like. I can't think of it now. The second album I also really like. I can see the album cover. It's like yellow with the kid on the front. It's got Bulls of
Oh,
Parade in that. I really
Evil
like that
Empire.
album as well. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's
Battle for
after
Los Angeles.
I think that's after Battle for Los Angeles, isn't it?
No, it's the second one.
Is Evil Empire second? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yep.
Battle is the third one. I would I would actually play ranking that way too. I'd go like Self-Titled's one, Evil Empire two, and then Battle for Los Angeles three. I think they got slightly weaker each
Yeah.
album.
They kind of
I don't know
had
if you agree
the
with that or not, but
yeah, I agree. They kind of had the
yeah.
Zeppelin effect, sadly.
Well, each album got worse.
Well, there was definitely a decline. Like they started off so strong, and it just slowly dipped down. I think personally.
I don't know, man. You got Zeppelin 4, Houses of the Holy, Physical Graffiti. It's like some of the later stuff are pretty damn good.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I would say they probably tapered off after Physical Graffiti,
Yeah.
I think. After that was a bit. Anyway, we're talking about Rage, not Led Zeppelin.
No, I've said everything I need to defend why I think this is one of my favorite
yeah,
albums ever. So
yeah. No,
I
there's no contest at all. It's a phenomenal album. I want to say it's the album you got me into, actually. I think you
is
showed
that
me.
right?
I believe so. Like I'd heard of them. I think through Guitar Hero. I think it was Bulls and Parade and Killing in the Name. I think even Guitar Hero 3, there's a guitar battle with Tom Morello in it.
Yeah,
So
there is. Yep.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I think that's how I just personally discovered Rage. But then I think you showed me this album and I really got into them.
Yep.
So
Oh
hell
well,
yeah.
I'm glad I did.
Yeah. Thank you. Right. Number 17 is, funnily enough, a band you actually just mentioned before, Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
So
Queens of the
you've got
Stone Age
two.
smashing.
So you've
two,
got two
two,
Queens of the Stone Age albums.
two Queens, yeah, I cheated here.
Yep.
um, the album is Songs for the Deaf, which is arguably the best album.
That's what I was expecting you to say.
I recently re-listened to it, and it's just like, um, I would even say, we're probably gonna do podcast episodes on like our favorite musicians, and obviously my number one, he knows what's about to come out of my mouth, is Dave Grohl. He drummed on this album, and I would say, this is his best drumming he's ever done. His drumming is just phenomenal on this album. He just put it all out there. I think that's probably partly the reason why I love this album so much. It's just he's just went off, and I
Yep.
love drumming songs to this album as well. But even the riffs and the lyrics and just how, again, it's an album you have to listen to because it's a concept. It's the theme. It's like how do I word it? You're listening to it and it sounds like a radio because between each song, it like clicks between radio stations. It's like an announcer announcing the songs and all that. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Um,
They
yeah,
even do that in the music videos as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Staticky
So
stuff.
again, it's not really an album. You can just pick and choose the songs. You've got to listen to it all the way through. And this is again back to what I said in the last episode about driving albums. This is like, in my opinion, the best driving album. It's just, again, it just has this momentum this whole time. And again, I think that's part of the intention because of the whole radio thing as well.
Yep. Okay.
Like even in the first track, you hear like him starting the radio. You hear him like starting up the car, and he closes the door. Um, again, it's just the momentum just goes the whole album. My favorite song is called "Song for the Dead." One of my favorite songs, possibly even my favorite song to ever drum. You've seen me drum it. I played it for my HSC. It's just a song where you can improvise so much of it because there's so many fills and there's so much space to put your own input of your ideas and that into it. It's just a fun song, and they've even got other great songs in there, like "Go with the Flow," "Hanging Tree," "No One Knows," of course, which is another song I've actually performed live.
Yep.
Um, it's
That's
just,
probably the
yeah, I
biggest
love
song.
this album.
That,
Oh yeah,
that's
"No
the
One
biggest song on the
Knows."
album.
That's probably
Yeah.
their Queens of the Stone Age's biggest song, arguably.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I love this album a lot. And like I said, I recently re-listened to it and I just confirmed it. I was like, yeah, this album still slaps. So
There we
yeah,
go. No,
yeah.
I was not surprised that would come up. I think that's the first surprising order. I knew that would be there, but I would expect that to be higher. But
Yeah.
obviously I'm wrong.
I
Yeah,
was even surprised by how low, but I knew it was gonna be on there, but there's so many
yeah.
other albums that yeah, I'm like, oh, they're just yeah. Hell yeah. You're number 17, mate.
My number 17 is a band that we have seen live together.
Living End.
No. We so I credit myself for being into them before they blew up.
Oh, I know exactly what you're about to talk about.
21 airplane drivers.
Yeah.
Um
Where are the other 19?
yeah.
Because I
They got
told them.
21 Pilots, they got their name from a book, didn't they? They were reading a book. It was
All
like
My
a
Sons. It's one of the books we read in high
yeah.
school. Arthur Miller, All My Sons.
Yep,
Because
yep,
21 pilots died in the play.
yep. Do you want to guess my favorite album?
Vessel.
Vessel, correct.
Yeah. And I bought that
It
as a
was
vinyl for you for one of your birthdays.
you did. Yep, I've still got that,
Yes.
obviously. Um I just sold
Yeah,
it.
no, you just snapped in half, chucked in the bin.
Yeah. Oh Jesus. Um no, I love this album. It
Yeah.
was close between this and Blueface.
Yeah.
Blueface was obviously massive when we were in high school.
Oh yeah.
I had a lot of fun
Couldn't escape it.
listening to it. Oh, exactly right. No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think you got me into their debut. Um, I did I get you into 21 Pilots, but then I think you were the one that listened to the first album before me.
Correct. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember you sent me the song House of Gold.
Yep.
And I listened to it. I was like, this is different. This is weird. And I remember we had an
Yeah.
excursion where I can't remember what the play was, but we had with music, we had an excursion. We went up to Sydney, we saw some play, a musical play.
Yep.
I
I
can't remember
remember
what that
that.
was. And I remember you lent me your phone and you were like, listen, it was Vessel. You let me listen to it. And it was just so weird. Like Ode to
Yeah.
Sleep and Holding On to You and Migraine and Car Radio. Like they're all such weird electronic songs.
Yeah.
Um, I
Majorly.
think at first I was listening to it, I'm like, this is like so out there. It's so different and so weird. But I kept listening to it and it just grows on you. And it's
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely an album that has to grow on you. Well, personally, that's what it had to do with me. I think
Yep.
that's like that for a lot of their music.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's you sort of listen to it, you're like, I've never heard anything like this before, and you keep listening
Mm.
to it, and you're like, it's just amazing.
I think
Um,
Vessel especially is their experimental kind of album, isn't it?
oh, 100%,
Definitely there. Yeah.
100%. Yeah,
Because their debut kind of more on the ballady side of pop, I
yeah,
guess you could say, and
it's
then this one kind of breaks
very
into different elements.
yeah. The self title is very focused on the piano,
Yeah,
very
definitely.
focused on piano, and then this one, yeah, he Tyler really went on the electronic side of things.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
No, I listened to the shit out of this album in high school.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely influenced my love for it, obviously, because I listened to it so much. But as you said, you spot on. It's just it's quirky, it's unique,
Yeah.
and I feel like that music tends to draw to me sometimes. Definitely,
Yeah.
music that I know that I almost feel like it's made for me because I just can't imagine anyone else listening to it if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
Um,
Yeah.
favorite song I think is oh, Jesus, I don't know.
There's a lot of good ones on there.
Yeah, there is. I can't. I
You
don't think I
could
can name.
honestly say any of the tracks, I'd be like, fair.
Let's get it up, and then I'm gonna actually try and
I
break it
think
down.
my
I
favorite, I personally play go Guns for Hands, I think.
I
Oh, no,
I yeah.
Trees is on there as well.
Trees is a good
Oh,
song.
it'd be a toss up. Yeah, it'd be a toss up between Guns for Hands or Trees is my favorite, I think. Fun fact,
Um,
I'm going to be seeing them in November. in Sydney for my fourth time.
Fourth time. Wow.
Fourth time, yeah.
I've seen them twice. Yeah. Yeah. You saw them recently, didn't you? It was really recently.
6 years ago, if you want to call that recently. It was the last time I saw him.
Was it?
2018.
Oh, I didn't think it was that.
That was
Okay.
Bandito too. Again, a reoccurring friend, Charles. I went with him down the mosh pit, and my mum, who's a massive fan as well. Hi, mum. She's definitely listening and watching. Oh, I've ascended to the heavens.
Yeah, I know. Look at you.
Yeah.
Jesus. Literally.
Yeah, they just set off another nuke out there, so I can't help it.
Yeah. Come on, Kim.
Kim, calm down, mate.
I really hope they're not listening right now. Otherwise, you're definitely in trouble. For real.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, what's your favorite song, mate?
I think it's Holding On to You.
Yeah.
It's
I'm gonna fix my one
of their complete album tracks. That one.
Yeah.
I love it. House of Gold was the first song that I heard. I saw the music video. I was like, what is this? And then, as you said,
I'm so sorry about the lighting. We're just gonna work with it.
Can you rotate around a little bit? No, maybe more the other way.
Although I've got like fucking kitchen appliances. It's like an air fryer in the background. Oh, there we go. That's a bit better.
Slightly better.
There we go.
No, just leave it. That's fine.
Cut all that out.
That is a bit better anyway. That's fine.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
What's your next one?
Number 16. Well, this one's actually gonna be really quick because it's an album we just talked about. Rage Against the Machine, self-titled.
No way. There we go. Pretty
Number
close.
16.
So you, by logic, you like it more than me.
Ironically, because you got me into it. And again, I funnily enough, my favorite song is "Know Your Enemy" as well.
Yeah,
I just love the riff. Again, it's a song I love drumming.
So fun. Such a fun song.
Yeah. Don't know else really what to say. We already sort of talked about it. So I agree basically with what you said. It's just a phenomenal album. And yeah, I think we'll just move on. We've already talked about it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah.
Okay, my next one is an album that a band that you jokingly mentioned before, the Beach Boys. Pet Sounds.
The album as well. Yeah.
Pet Sounds. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't going to be anything else. I haven't explored the Beach Boys as much as I would have liked. I need to.
I was going to say, I don't think I could even.
On my list.
I don't think I could even name another album by them.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I know Pet Sounds. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, this is peak Beach Boys. Everybody knows that. Yeah. Every respectable musician knows that this album is influential. Especially when you know that even Paul McCartney was influenced by this album. So
to write Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously Rubber Soul influenced Brian Wilson to make this, and then he made this, and then they made Sgt. Pepper. So that even that span of 3 albums right there is just
I didn't even know Rubber Soul influenced Brian. Damn, okay.
Yeah, it did. He wanted to make the next. He wanted to make the next big thing. He didn't at the time. I think this was a flop at the time.
Really?
Yeah, he hired a lot of session musicians. Like, I'm pretty sure it's Brian Wilson with the help of the Beach Boys, like the other members of the band. But he hired a lot of session like drummers and whatever else to come and help him make this and record it. And turns out now, looking back, it is one of the most influential albums of all time. It's grown on me a little bit, not as much, obviously, as it should have. But I've songs like God Only Knows and Wouldn't It Be Nice, just up there with some of my favorite songs of all time. And I think it's just the sound of this album. It's so it sounds vintage in a way that's good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, the songs are all like 3 minutes as well. Like I'm pretty sure there's no song over like 3.5 minutes, which is quite funny as well.
I
And there's like,
swear back in the 60s, it was like unheard of to have a 4 minute song.
yeah,
I swear
yeah,
every song was like 2 minutes or 3 minutes. It's like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. All right, song's over.
yeah,
There
exactly.
was no nothing, just straight to the point.
Yeah,
Which
well,
it's there's
exactly.
like a
Even with that,
charming quality to that. I think there's like an innocence
yeah,
to it. I think. Yeah.
yeah. Even with that, the fact that they were able to make and produce the songs that have still made, still played like a lot even to this day with that short
Yeah.
span of time is saying something. Um,
Yeah.
as I said, this album has grown on me. It did take me a while to get into it because obviously there is another band that I am massively into that compared to a lot to this band. And I've been very biased, I guess, over the years. But being trying to be a respectable musician, I'm obviously trying to branch out to other things, and I did.
Yeah.
And this album has latched on, and that's why
Oh yeah.
it is where it is. Number 16.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I yeah. Again, that's another album I would have guessed. Again, I thought you would have had it a bit higher, but yeah,
Okay,
I
interesting.
no
Okay.
contest there. It's bloody Pet Sounds, mate. Like one of the greatest
To be
albums ever.
honest,
So
if anything, it was going to be lower. But it needed to
damn.
be this high because it is. I'm judging my favorites off where I think it also should be as well, and I could not
Yeah.
put it any higher than this,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah,
That's fair. The other thing I really want to add is anytime, even to this day, I think oh, my brain just rebooted. To this day, anytime I hear "Wouldn't it be nice," my brain still goes to the Cadbury ad.
yeah, yeah,
I got brainwashed by that ad.
yeah. That was some
Yeah,
amazing commercial work there from
yeah,
Cadbury. I can still
yeah,
picture what they look like as well. It was all like chocolate people, like
yeah.
actual
And that
actual chocolate people.
they're running around like a maze or something.
Yeah, it's
I
like
think
if there's
they're running
cars
around like they're
involved, like a
eating.
field.
Yeah, like they're running
Yeah,
like eating everything.
yeah.
Yeah,
Nah, classic.
good brainwashing there, Cadbury. And it's not even my favorite chocolate.
It worked. Oh,
Yeah. Um. Anyway,
all
that's
right.
a topic another time. Number 15. Um, Going back to the 90s grunge, another pioneering band. Again, this is an album I think I've shown you. Not sure if you ever go around to listening to it. Alice in Chains Dirt. Have you listened
Mm.
to this album?
I have listened to it. I
Oh,
wouldn't be able to say anything about it though. It was a long
yeah.
time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Yeah, the riffs that are on this album are amazing. Most of it's in drop D, which I believe I said before is like my favorite tuning, and most of it's in that tuning. And you got so many amazing songs. You know, Them Bones, Damn That River, Rooster is another iconic track, which is about I want to say it's about one of the band members' dad who fought. Oh, I can't remember which war, but he fought in a war and they called him the roost. I can't remember what they called him the rooster, but he apparently would like sneak up or something, which makes no sense because roosters aren't sneaky. I don't know. There's a whole story. All I remember is something about his dad in the war, and he was called while he was in the war. He was called Rooster. That's a great track. Um, but again, this is another album where it just satisfies my heavy. I love my heavy. There's a lot of heavy
Yep.
stuff, especially "Damn That River." Um, so it's heavy and it's so infectiously groovy as
Yep.
well. Another song that like I feel like it demands to be played live. Like if I ever saw them, they pulled this out, like I could see the crowd just going insane.
Yep.
Um, Favorite
Okay.
song, Angry Chair. Uh, it's like a slow, heavy song, and I think the reason why I like it is because it's my favorite sounding snare sound ever. It's just it sounds like a gunshot.
Wow.
Every time
Okay.
you hear that snare, you just feel like you're being shot. And I love it. I love when a snare sounds like that. The only way I could describe it, it's very similar to like say like Sad But True on the Black Album. It just sounds like a gunshot. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Not sure really what else to say about this album. It's just an album I really love. I love my 90s grunge. I love my heavy, and it just ticked all those boxes for me.
Yep.
So
Okay.
it
I like
was
it.
a
Yeah.
brief one. Yeah.
Another band I have listened to, but don't know much about. But obviously
Yeah.
know of them and their work.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, very good. Okay, my next one is I'm scared to say it.
Here we go.
Um, Paranoid, Black Sabbath.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah, it's low. I know it's low.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
it's there though. It's there obviously because it needed to be. Um, we listened to this album a lot
Yes.
back in high school, and Master of Reality and other stuff.
Volume 4, self-titled,
Even when 13
Sabbath
came
Bloody
out as well.
Sabbath. Yeah, 13.
Yeah,
I actually recently listened to that album again. I still like 13. I think it's
yeah,
very good. The only thing I dislike is that as much as I love Brad Wilk, I wish it was Bill Ward. But
yeah.
it
I
is what
feel
it
like he does
is.
a pretty good job though. I mean, he doesn't
Yeah.
overdo it. I don't think.
Yeah. You can tell he was trying to be as respectful to Bill as he could.
Yeah,
I think he has a very similar drumming style
to
to
you as
Bill.
well.
Yeah. I still wig about that when you're like, you have a similar style to Bill Ward. I was like, what? And I listened more closely to like his fills and all that, and I was like, I would do that. Like, yeah, it was wild, and I can't get out of that mindset too. But I'll take it. Bill Ward's one of my favorite drummers ever. Very underrated, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah, I agree. This album is not underrated. It is perfectly rated.
No, I
Um,
agree.
it's so low because Black Sabbath over the years, um, when I listen to Black Sabbath songs by themselves, I'm not as blown away as I am when I listen to the full album. Kind of sounds like a cop out answer.
Yeah,
I pretty much I can only listen to Black Sabbath if I listen to the entirety of it, and this
yeah,
album is the one that I would do that to over anything else, obviously because it's got
yeah,
every song is an absolute hit. Um, whether I've whether I've heard Paranoid a million times or not, it's still a great song. Uh, then you've got songs like Rat Salad and Electric Funeral that are complete album tracks that the general public wouldn't know, but they're so fun to listen
yeah.
to and play on bass as
Very
well,
sweet
actually.
boots.
Fairies Wear Boots, yeah, classic.
Oh,
War Pigs, obviously. It's got Iron Man. Jesus, this album is just
oh,
completely influential. I've got full respect for it. But listening to it, there are other things I would prefer to put on. That is not discounting my love for Black Sabbath and my respect for them
yeah.
as a band and this album. And that's my defense and why I was scared to say it. Because I
Yeah.
know I
Um,
know I know I know how much you think of this album.
I
But
love this album.
I just
As
couldn't
we'll
put it higher than this for some reason.
as we'll see later on, won't say where, but obviously it's going to come up again. But
Yeah,
um,
that's not even a spoiler.
yeah. The only bit I'll spoil is it will be in the next episode. That's how high up it
Okay.
is. Um,
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
wow,
Favorite
I'm
song,
pretty shocked.
I think it's
Yeah.
Fairies Wear Boots. I think it's Fairies Wear Boots.
I
Playing
would say
it
it's the
is
most
War Pigs.
complicated one. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
easily.
yeah. War Pigs
So
is just
yeah,
iconic.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I'm sorry if I've hurt your feelings by putting it so low. But it's my defense again. I will repeat of listening to individual Black Sabbath songs. I there are a couple times if I'm listening to shuffle of playlists or something, and um, War Pigs comes on, I actually skip it because I don't want to listen to it by
Oh,
itself. I've got to respect it as an
oh,
album, um,
oh!
as a whole, rather than individual songs.
Can't believe you
Even
just said
though
that.
I've seen I've seen these guys twice, and I'm 25 years old. That's saying a lot. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I think we
yeah.
should move on. Um, so I don't dig that hole any deeper.
Far out. Wow, I have to process that one. Wow. The other thing I want to add is wow. The other thing I want to add is I hold the opinion. I think Iron Man, the main riff, is the greatest metal riff ever. I don't get sick of hearing it.
Yeah, yeah,
I know.
I
It's
can
just,
I can respect that opinion. Yeah,
yeah. I don't know. There's other songs out there where I hear the main riff. I'm just like, all right. Like for example, like I've heard Enter Sandman so many bloody times that I don't need to hear that riff. Like it's a great riff, but I think I could go the rest of my life without ever hearing that song again. I think I'd be okay. Unless I was to see him live. That's the only other time I want to hear it. But
yeah, I know what you
um
mean.
whereas Iron Man, even after all these years of listening to this album, I still get just as like pumped up for it. Um yeah, but we're gonna move on. Number
Shit.
14. We're going to talk about a band that we talked about before, Silverchair.
Okay,
Um, which album do you think I put on here? I
Neon
feel like you
Ballroom.
should know. Very close. Freak Show.
Oh, you've changed your mind on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
Okay.
always been Freak Show.
Has it? No, it was
Yeah.
Neon Ballroom. Definitely was.
No, no.
Okay.
It's always been
Wrong.
Freak
Okay.
Show.
All right.
Always been Freak. Yeah. I love this album. It's so heavy. It's so angry. I'm ascending to the heavens again. Um, so with Freak Show, uh, I love the anger. I love the riffs. Daniel Johns just sounds so pissed off in this album. And I just love it. Um, it always blows my mind when listening to this album that they were only like 17 when they
Mm,
made this.
yeah.
Uh,
That's something I
but it
always
makes
think about as well.
sense. Yeah, like even the first album, they were like 15, and you're just like, what? And Daniel Johns does not sound like a teenager. He sounds like a 25, 27-year-old man. Like he sounds like he's in his 20s. And he's just like, I don't know. Puberty must have hit him like a freight train. Like,
Yeah,
like I
same.
didn't
Same
understand
with
how
me.
his voice was so deep at that age. Um, my favorite song is No Association,
Hmm.
which is I love the riff. I love drumming it. It's another song. Again, it's a repeating theme. I love my heavy rhythms. It's just so rhythmic and it's so heavy. I think it's also one of those songs. It sounds like it's in an odd time signature, but it's not. It's actually 4/4. But
Mm.
the way they play the riff, and I love when songs do that because it's like an illusion to your
Yeah,
brain.
right.
Now, yeah, there's so many other great songs on here. Obviously, Freak, Slave, what else is there? Lie to Me, Petrol and Chlorine. Um, trying to rattle them off the top of my head. Cemetery is an amazing ballad song.
I love Cemetery. I think
Cemetery is a beautiful song.
it's their album I know the least, actually. Freak Show.
Really?
It's the
Damn.
album I know the least. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I love this album. It's easily the album I've listened to the most. Um, yeah, it's just so heavy. And I think probably again because the song, a lot of songs on the album is in drop D.
Mm.
I think it's awesome tuning. Such an awesome tuning. Um,
No,
awesome album, and
full
it's an
respect
album.
there.
Yeah, it's an album I listened to a lot as a teenager. So there's that nostalgia factor to it as well. Um, and yeah, it's just Silverchair, man.
Yeah,
The greatest Australian band of all time, in my opinion. So,
that's an opinion.
do you disagree with that?
We'll see. Okay, moving on.
I
um,
actually do. So, mate.
Akadaka. Um, okay. So my next album is an album that I once again started listening to in high school and really, I guess, fell in love with it as an album as a whole. Um, it is by a band called Queen,
Haven't heard of
and
him.
oh yeah, they're right. um, A Night at the Opera. It would be my
Yeah.
definite go-to Queen album. Unfortunately, when the movie came out, when Bohemian Rhapsody came out, I feel like they turned into a very um over overspoken band. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I almost sadly kind of ruined it for me. Um,
Yeah.
but whenever I listen to this album, I just and I guess I'm taken back to before I they were seen. Obviously, Queen have been seen as like a massive band for a long time, but I feel like the movie
Yeah.
didn't do them any favors for staying like slightly more, even though they're not underground. It's hard to explain, but I don't know. I love listening to this album. It's got a lot of album tracks that no one would know, like Death on Two Legs or 39.
Yeah.
Those two of my favorite songs on
I
this album.
love Death on Two Legs. It's such a
Yeah,
cool song.
it's an awesome
Yeah.
opener. Um, just the way that they contribute, the way that everyone contributes to the songwriting and the playing on this album is something I also love too. They're definitely a band's band.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
work very well together. Um, I think it showcases Freddie's songwriting as well. Obviously, you got
Mm.
Bohemian Rhapsody to close the album. If you don't count God Save the Queen, which I guess you wouldn't really. I think
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody is still the closer. Obviously, one of the most popular songs of all time.
Yeah.
Um, and I can only listen to it if I listen to the whole album now. It's kind of got that Sabbath effect for me of I can only listen to it if it's part of the album.
Yeah.
Um, Unfortunately, obviously, I love the song. I don't know. It's just a great showcase. I think it's their peak. I don't have much to compare it to because I haven't fully explored everything that Queen have done, but as far as I know, I think this is their peak. Um, if I was to
Yeah.
ask Brian May, he would probably confirm that. Um,
Agree. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's just got a whole lot of different kind of styles of songwriting thrown in. Like you've got "I'm in love with my car." What is that about?
Well, he's
Like
in his car.
yeah, but I mean more so about like what why did they put that in there? Like it's funny.
That
It's funny
exhaust
that that's
pipe's
in there.
awfully enticing, mate.
Yeah, it's tempting. Um, yeah, it's as I said, it's just a complete showcase of everything that they all do well. And it was before they turned all electro and pop as well. And I'm not really a fan
Yeah,
of that
they
side
got
of
weird.
Queen. Yeah.
Although A
So
Day in the
this
Races
is
is still a good album.
yeah,
That's what they
it
did
is.
afterwards, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
after that, I got a bit. mm, Yeah.
They
I
fell into
think.
the commercial trap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sort of was. Yeah. I mean, when you become as big as that, it's sort of difficult not to, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean,
Um.
eh, I they were they were breaking rules with this album. Obviously,
Yeah.
everyone's seen the movie Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, I don't know how true the conversation was, but it was definitely true that there weren't singles that were anything like what Bohemian Rhapsody is. Um,
No.
and that was
Even to this
released as a
day.
single. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's true. Um, it's groundbreaking, this album, and I love it.
Yeah. I would say Queen, in terms of every member contributing something, is probably the closest we've gotten to like another Beatles. I would say I can't think of another band where like every member was contributing a lot. And
It's
even the fact
definitely a
that
fair
all of
argument.
them
Yeah.
could, yeah, and the fact that all of them could sing as well, and they did all
Yeah.
the four-part harmonies and all that. Like,
Yep.
and I think I've said this to you before, but I find Queen, they're not really an album. I think they're the only band I would say that breaks the whole. Oh, you can listen to the whole album thing. Like I've listened to other albums of theirs, and it's sort of like I actually sort of pick and choose the songs, whereas Night at the Opera is the only one I can actually listen to the entirety of.
There we go.
Other albums, I
Exactly
sort of
right.
listen to it, and other ones I'm sort of like, oh, not feeling this. Skip, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
I must feel the exact same way because that's exactly what I do with this album. I
yeah,
put it on and I try and let it play through.
yeah. I
Um,
can't skip anything. Except I usually tune off after God Save the Queen because it's like I've just listened to Bohemian Rhapsody. Why do I care about this song? You
yeah.
know. So,
Fair,
um,
fair. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
but yeah,
I've said everything I need to about that, I think.
yeah. I remember how obsessed you were at school with this
Yeah,
album. You were so into it. You even did a whole what was it, Viva Voce? You
I
know,
did.
HSC. You did a
Yeah.
whole thing just dissecting this entire album.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at mine, go, oh yeah, I did pretty well. And yours was like each block, which is like a whole entire essay on every song. I was like, okay, you've
It's
completely
just
outdone yourself.
it's just a fair
Yeah,
statement of me how much effort I put into music as a subject and not
yeah,
really anything else in high school. But
no.
yeah.
And it's also a credit to how much you could say about every song because there is that
Yeah.
much to say about every song on this album.
Yep.
Um, you can
Easily.
just write an essay on Death on Two Legs or I'm in love with my car. You know, you
Yep.
can just write so much about it because there's so much going on, and you can even talk about like with the, I'm in love with my car. It's like why does that work as a song?
100%.
You know,
100%.
it's just
Yeah.
such a weird song, but it's a great song.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Where are we up to? 13. Um, I'm not sure if you'd be surprised by this one or not, but Oasis, What's the Story, Morning Glory at
No,
number
that's not
13.
surprising.
Not surprising? That's fair.
I'm surprised that you chose that album over one of their other
Definitely,
albums.
maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a toss up. To be fair, it's one of those two. I feel like the next time we talk about it, could be definitely maybe the next time it goes back to What's the Story. I listened to both of those albums a lot, and this time this one came out on top. I think there was a period of time where I actually preferred definitely maybe, but um, yeah, this time around it was just What's the Story. I like that some of the other albums as well. They're not as strong. Um, they're another band
Okay.
that they're the definition of peaking early.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, funnily enough, I believe this album was actually recorded at the same studio as A Night at the Opera. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, there we go.
Because I can't remember the name of it, but it's like this studio is just like in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of iconic albums. Oh, also we'll throw back to the Royal Blood album was also recorded there as well.
Mm. Wow. Okay. So
Go back.
people have definitely taken that on board, haven't they? That place.
Yeah. Well, I think ever
Yeah.
since that Queen album, people want to record that because like, oh, let's get that magic.
Yeah. Okay.
Some bands have. I don't know. Like, probably some haven't. I don't know what other albums have been recorded there, but I know those have been there.
Yep.
What can I say about this album? Every person on the planet has heard Wonderwall.
What's that?
Everyone knows the lyrics. Yeah, yeah.
Banned from every
I
guitar
mean, don't
center.
look. Yeah, exactly. Same as Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
Um, what was I going to say? Don't look back in anger. I believe you chose as our graduation song. So I remember that was up to you and Jacob. I remember you got to work on our
Yeah.
graduation send off. I remember you chose "Don't Look Back in Anger."
I don't know why
Um,
why I was the one that ended up involved in that, but I was. And
yeah,
yeah, you're right. I
yeah,
chose that song as a
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Uh, which I find very ironic because all the Gallagher brothers do now is look back in anger, especially Noel. But anyway, that's all they do now.
Yeah, Jesus. Anyway.
Um, but it's just an amazing '90s album.
Mm.
One of the
It is a good
best
album.
Britpop albums. Yeah, I love this album a lot. The songwriting on this album is amazing. Liam's vocals, it's probably
Mm.
the best he's ever sounded because he's a very nasally singer, but in this one, he's not as nasally. He's still nasally, but like not as much, I guess, as you would parody him to be. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you
Like
mean.
when you're doing like an impression, you like exaggerate the person. Um, but there's so many. I need to get the track list up because my brain's drawing a blank. But there's just so many
It's
amazing
almost
songs. Nice.
I prefer the album tracks than the popular ones on this album.
Oh,
Um,
like Cast in a Shadow, um, Hey Now, Roll With It.
yeah,
She's Electric's a beautiful song, some might say. My personal favorite song is actually the closer, Champagne Supernova. I just think it's
yeah.
such a
I mean,
beautiful song.
that's one of the popular ones, but I think it's definitely worthy of being known
Yeah.
as a great song.
Um,
Definitely.
Hello is even an amazing opener. Um, yeah, I just love this album a lot. I feel like I just say the same thing with all these albums. Is oh, I just like it,
Well, I
but
mean, they're
that's sort of
on
the
our
point.
favorites list for a reason. Yeah,
um, but yeah, it's just Noel and Liam at their absolute best.
yep,
Um, like Noel writing wise and Liam singing wise. Um,
I agree.
and Oasis is just a band I really, really love. I love both the Gallagher brothers. As I know a lot of people probably don't like them because they're dickheads, but that's why I love them because they just speak their mind, and I love that. Um, and this album, yeah, just really impacted me a lot. And I've seen
Yep.
Liam. How many times have I seen him now? I think 3 times. I want to say
Mm.
3 times at least.
Yeah, you've seen him a
Um,
lot. Yep.
yeah, the second time flew back from New Zealand to Zoom
I do
after
remember
your
that.
21st birthday. Yeah,
Yes,
it was
you
the day
were
after
a
your
bit hungover
21st.
as well, I think. Yeah.
A little bit.
Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, great album. What
good
else to
choice.
say? What are your
Good
thoughts?
choice. I was expecting that to be there.
Yeah.
I've heard this album a lot too. I kind of forgot about it actually until you
Yeah.
mentioned it. I'm like, oh yeah, that is a good album. Um, wouldn't be on my favorite list, but I'm
That's
glad
right.
that we did speak about it though. So thank you for having that
Yeah.
on yours.
Oh yeah.
Okay, my number 13 is a band that is memeable but taken seriously, I think, evenly. Um, well, to me anyway, I don't think it's a publicly memed band, but Dream Theater,
Smash Mouth. Oh, okay.
Smash Mouth, completely. I don't think you could get more different. um, yeah, Dream Theater. It's um, they're a band that I prefer Rush as a band to Dream Theater,
Yeah, same.
100%. But I feel like
Yeah.
Dream Theater have a more exciting catalog for me. Um,
Mm, yeah.
the the musicianship on the anything Rush do is peak. But
Yeah.
as an album, I prefer to listen to Metropolis Part Two. Um,
Oh, yeah, I
that
remember you just
is,
album a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
Scenes
Yeah.
from a Memory, as it's otherwise
Yeah.
called.
Yeah.
It is probably the only album on this list that is it is pinnacle of a um, what's the word? It is the ultimate album. Like it's a complete story. Um,
Yeah.
it's got like the opening song starts with clocks and then like you the guy's lying on the therapist lounge and he's just like dozing off and then it just starts like a ultimate like just storytelling journey of going through I think it's a breakup and then um I don't know, he's kind of trying to relive memories or something. I don't know. But you have to listen to this as an album rather than individual songs, even though it's got songs like Dance of Eternity, that is a very, I
Yeah.
guess, popular prog metal song
Yeah.
that is known.
It's a
Um,
jam-packed song. So much in
yeah,
it.
majorly.
Yeah.
It's just the the skill on this album is nearly unmatched, I think. Um, Images and Words is close. I love Images and Words. I think Images and Words is the better album, but this like that's the one with Pull Me Under and whatever else.
Yeah.
Um,
I love Pull
but
Me Under.
this
It's a great
yeah,
song.
but this album is a concept album that completely it's one of those albums, as I said before, I think it was made completely for me. I've got a lot
Yeah.
of feeling and I guess memories of this album, and I love listening to it all in one go
Yeah.
and experiencing it. Um, Favorite song for a while was "The Spirit Carries On" because I love the vocals in that song, even though James LeBry sounds absolutely awful now. I feel like he sounded really good back
Oh,
in the
damn.
90s, 2000s. Yeah, ask my dad about that. He'll second that. Um, but I think my favorite song is Dance of Eternity because it's just so fun.
Yeah.
Um, and John Myung makes me feel inferior as a bass player as well. So it's
Don't worry,
just fun
Mike
to listen
Portnoy
to.
makes me feel crap too. Don't worry.
Yeah, there we go. Exactly. Yeah. Um, the only thing
I'll
is
just listen
though,
to
I
Mike
think John.
Portnoy. I'll just give up, man.
Yeah, no, I mean he's arguably the best, isn't he?
He's fun.
So
Yeah, he's the closest I would say to someone coming. He's the closest someone has ever come to Neil Peart, I would say.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, we probably will be doing a drum album, a drum.
Ranking of drummers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drummers
So
episode. Yeah.
easily. But yeah, this is just a completely me album. I wouldn't expect it on many other people's list, but I wanted it there because it's my favorite list. So there we go.
Yeah. Once you said that album, like I just was flashed back to you driving around in your old Renault. And I remember this album just lived in your CD player for like a few months. I remember
Yeah,
it just, I don't think you listened to anything else for quite some time. Like every time I hopped in, this was playing, you
I
know?
seem to get into phases where I just play overplay albums until I
Yeah.
get sick of them, and then I go
Yeah.
and listen to something else, and then I come back to it
Yeah.
like years later.
I want to say it was like a good two, maybe like 3 months of just you listening to this album. I reckon it for at least 2 months.
Yeah,
Like
probably.
every time I hopped in your car, this was playing. I didn't
Yeah,
complain because it's an
sounds about
amazing album. But I was still like, it's still if you taking it out, like, nope.
right.
Still
Still there.
going. All right. Yeah, no, it's I mean it's Dream Theater. Like I feel like they're a kind of band as well, even when they write like a crap album, then because it's so technical and there's so much in their music, it's still like a great listen. Like
Yeah,
I don't think there's such thing as a bad Dream Theater song or a bad Dream Theater album. Because
I feel.
even when it's
Oh,
not as strong, there's still something to get out of it.
there's definitely something from a musician's take from it. I feel like they are a band though that if you're a real musician, like you really expect it to like Dream Theater. Like, oh, bro,
Yeah,
you like Dream Theater? Oh,
yeah,
well, you aren't a real musician if you don't.
yeah,
That kind of
exactly.
annoys me if people say that. Um,
Yeah,
I only like them for their music rather than their I don't know their and anything else. Like I don't hold any other biases for them rather than their
yeah,
individual albums, which is and it, this is one of them. Yeah,
yeah. It's like you like their music, but you also have that extra level of because you're a musician yourself, you can understand like how technical everything is and what's going on. Like
yeah,
I think it is Dance of Eternity. There's a clip of Mike Portnoy. He's got the sheet music and he's doing time signatures. He's like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2. And it's just like every bar, it's a new time signature. And I'm like,
yeah,
what is going on? You know,
yeah. I feel like
it's
they
yeah,
overdo it slightly, maybe with the whole
yeah,
trying to be technical, but it's entertaining. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Alrighty, number 12.
number
Back
12.
to a band that was on your honorable mentions. Blink 182.
Mm, okay.
This time it's not Enema of the State, which I completely respect because they've got 3 albums. If a Blink fan said one of them, I'm like, I get it. My one that I love the most is called Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, which is the album that follows Enema of the State. The other
Yep.
album I also really love as well. It was the album after this one, is the self-titled one. Like I always say that's like their holy trinity. Those three
Okay.
albums are just all masterpieces. Um, and like, once again, every time I listen to those 3 albums, I'm always like, it's really hard for me to pick which one's my favorite. But this time, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket is the winner. I think it's because from uh, Enema of the State to this album, I mean, it's Blink 182, so I'm gonna put quotations around the word mature, but the
Mm.
sound matured a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
there's
I know what you
still
mean.
stupid songs on. I think there's a song called "Happy Holidays, You Bastard," where um, it's like it's like he's talking about his granddad eating hot dogs and he's shitting his pants. So they didn't mature that much, um, but it's just I don't know. I just really like the sound. They went slightly heavier. Like the opening track, Anthem Part Two, is well for Blink is like a heavier kind of song. Um, and I just think I don't know. I just something about this album just clicks just that ever so slightly more for me.
Okay.
Um, I think Tom lyrics wise got a lot more serious as well. Like songs like "Story of a Lonely Guy," um, and also which is my favorite song, "Stay Together for the Kids." Um, they also got goofy songs on here like "Rock Show" and "First Date," which is your classic. And even online songs, which is your classic sort of Blink, like let's have fun kind of.
Yep.
So it's like very lighthearted. That's your classic Blink. Like they don't take themselves super seriously, but they do at times, which is what I love
Right.
about they can go from stay together for the kids, which is about basically like a failing marriage, but you stay together because you don't want to stuff up your kid's childhood, this and that. You got songs like that too, like I said, about your granddad eating 7 hot dogs and him shitting himself. So that's the range of that's Blink 182 for you. And that's what I really love about them is that you get
Perfect.
that you can be serious and you just got that goofiness of them.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Blink 182 is one of my favorite bands. It's one of those bands like as I've gotten older, I just love them more and more. Um, and they're also a nostalgia band for me. I remember when I was younger, my sister was really into them because that's like in the early 2000s, which was like they're at their peak. Like that's when these albums were coming out, you know.
Yep.
Which I'm jealous. Like my sister got to be a fan
Yeah.
during like when they were just like they were probably like the biggest band in the world at the time, arguably, or one of the
Early
biggest. Like
two thousands.
they were massive,
Yeah.
they were huge, you know. I mean, Enema of the State's like one of the best selling albums of all time,
Mm.
you know. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. Amazing album. I love Blink 182. And like I said, any of those three albums that I mentioned are just amazing Blink 182 albums. So
Yep.
hell yeah.
No, I've got to explore more than just Enema of the State.
Yeah. I'd
Clearly.
go to this one.
Okay.
Or even the self-titled one. Like they're just it's just those three are just all just perfect albums in my opinion.
Yep.
Um
Okay.
yeah. I genuinely think you would really like this one.
Cool. Okay. My number 12 is an Australian band. Um The Butterfly Effect.
Yes, you've yeah.
Yeah. A band that I feel like I've always wanted you to get into. Or I don't know, always spoken about. Um
I've tried. I remember listening, I can't remember the name of it. It's like blue and it's got the butterfly logo on it.
yeah. Um
Can't remember what it's called, but I think I listened to that one.
yeah, okay. Yeah, that's probably the heaviest album.
Yeah.
I think it's their debut as well, pretty sure. Dad will kill me. Um But the album I like the most is Final Conversation of Kings. I just think it's kind of like Diorama in a way where I think it's just got everything all in one.
Yeah.
Um, it's I don't I actually I think it is their best album too, to be honest. Um, it's the thing about the Butterfly Effect is they're really well produced. I think their sound is one of the crispest you can possibly get. That's something my dad's always said as well. Um, this album though, I know that my dad would have like he would have Butterfly Effect CDs in his car, so we would listen to the other
Yeah.
albums. But this one is one that I kind of explored slightly more by myself because I don't think he had it in as a CD. But this one's just got some great songs. I love I love Clint's singing. I think he's got one of the best, like one of the most underrated voices in Australian music. Um, it's just got I don't know. It's got heaviness. It's got ballads. It's got everything you could ask for in a rock band. Really
Yeah,
really pinpoint as well. They but this album in particular, just as I said, I think it just explores it all. Um, my favorite song is "And the Promise of the Truth." I couldn't tell you why. It just is. It's one of those.
yeah,
If people don't, like people aren't bound to know this band or this album, but it's just one that I love, and
yeah,
um, I guess I have my reasons that I don't know why I do. I just really do. Um,
yeah,
I wouldn't I wouldn't put the Butterfly Effect in one of my favorite bands as a whole in general. Um, but I just love this album. It's got everything that I could ask for in like a um, rock album, I guess you could say.
yeah.
And it's got a really cool opener, World's on Fire. They kind of remind me of Muse in a way,
Oh,
Butterfly
okay.
Effect.
Yeah,
It's kind of got like you really like it's almost sounds like it's electronic sometimes, but it's not, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
Um,
That
and
perfect balance.
yeah,
Yeah,
perfect balanced kind of
yeah,
stuff. Um, yeah, this was just my classic Saturday afternoon or Saturday driving to footy to play a game. This would just be on in the car,
yeah.
and I'm glad it was.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is definitely a band I know you've spoken about a lot, and I think you really want me to get into them. I will try again to get into. Again. I think you like you said with the Oasis album, as soon as you said Butterfly Effect, I'm like, oh my god, that's a band that I haven't thought about in quite a while.
Yeah,
Um,
yep,
yeah, but I remember, yeah, throughout high school, I remember you were pushing pretty hard, like listen to him. And I did try to listen to him, and then, I don't know, it didn't click for me. I'll try again because again, that was many
yeah,
years ago.
yep,
But I
yep.
remember I did like their sound. I remember they were heavy, which again, I like my heavy, so I'll definitely. I think out of every album you've talked about so far, this is definitely one I actually think I'll check. What was it called?
Final Conversation of Kings.
Final Conversation of
Yeah,
Kings.
it's
I'll definitely listen
I
to it.
it to be honest, it is actually a band that I can imagine you liking. Um,
Yeah,
so maybe you should. Dad'll be
yeah.
really really proud of you if you
There we go.
do.
Fly over
Get
from New
the
Zealand to give me fly over to from New Zealand. Give me a handshake. Thanks,
he would
man.
he
Yeah.
would. Rightio. What's
Alrighty.
next? What's your final one of the
Number
episode?
11. Alrighty. This is a band. They're another Australian band that I actually just recently saw a week
We
ago.
also aren't biased, by the way, are we? By having a lot
No,
of Australian bands on the list, but
Australian
it's who
bands.
we are.
I
Yeah.
like it though, because to be fair, I've got a lot of American and British sort of bands, but it's good we got some Australian representation in here.
Yep.
I
I
think
agree.
Australia pumps out some great music that I feel just doesn't really get recognized enough.
I agree.
Um, I'm just like, why isn't this bigger? But this is a band I've loved for many years. Again, I just saw them a week ago for the third time over at Waves. They were very close to
Oh,
home.
okay.
They're called Polaris. They're a Sydney band, metalcore band. The album I'm going to be talking about is their debut album called The Mortal Coil, which came out in 2017, I want to say. Um, they're just unbelievable. They're one of the best. I would say they're probably like one of the best Australian metalcore bands played since like Parkway Drive.
There
Um,
we go.
I actually got to I actually got to meet four out of the five members. The gig I just went to, right
Oh,
after the
really?
gig, they all came down. Yeah, I got to fist bump all of them, and I got a photo with Jamie, who's the singer. Um, I'll send it to you. You can edit it in up here somewhere. Um, and I love this album. It's just ah, it's just like an album. The more I listen to it, the more I just can't believe how well produced, just like the way every member plays on it, the lyrics, the breakdowns, how they set it up, and they just hit for the punch of the like in the breakdown, like how they build it up and that.
Yep.
Um, yeah, they've got three albums. Fatalism is also was very close. That came out last year, and that was my album of the year last year. That I just love this band so much, and they're such amazing guys. Um, and I actually have something from them that means a lot. So last year, one of the guitar players' name was Ryan So, I want to say his name was, and he passed away last year. And the very first time I saw him was when they were touring this album. Right at the end of the show, was holding up his pick like this, and trying to put it into someone's hand, and it was my hand and a bunch of other people's hands in the crowd. And I put it out, being like, he's going to put it in someone else's hand, and he put it in my hand.
Oh,
And I still have this pick to this day. It's in
wow.
my mum's place in my childhood bedroom. Again, I'll send the photo to you, and you can edit in here. I'll have a photo of the pick, and
Okay, welcome back. Yeah, sorry, we had some technical issues with storage. But sort of now might be a bit darker on your screen. Hopefully, Matt's war over in his side of the
yeah,
world
yeah,
has stopped.
yeah. Kimmy boys, calm down.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Yeah. So you were talking about
the first time I saw Polaris. So I got to see
yep.
him when they were touring this album, The Mortal Coil, and it was an amazing concert. Took my sister, and basically having to protect her from the mosh pit the entire time because she'd never been to a metal show. Great, I had an amazing time. But right at the end, Ryan, who again was the guitarist that passed away, um, was doing this with his pick and was like pretending to like put it in someone's hand. And there was me and a bunch of other people had a hand out. And I was thinking, oh, there's no way he's going to give it to me. But I still stuck my hand out anyway. And he put the pick right into my hand. And I'd never held my fist so tight in my life. And it's something I really treasure as I said before, he passed away last year. So it's something I really, really treasure. And he's very sorely missed. He was an incredible talent. The solos he would come up with were just unbelievable, and you can hear him on
Yep.
Fatalism, which is the album he last recorded on. They had just finished recording and finished doing all the music videos just as he passed away. But yeah, but love Polaris, love this
Mhm.
album. They're an amazing Australian band, and they're only just beginning. And I can already see them going on to do
Oh,
more
okay.
amazing things. Yeah,
I don't know anything about them,
I'm not sure if it's your
but
type of music, 'cause it's your sort of screamo sort of stuff.
oh, it's screamo, is it?
Yeah, but
I
you
don't
might be
mind.
into
I
it.
mean, if it, how's what's the instrumentation like? Is it more on the like like kind of chuggy side, or is it just
Yeah, it's chuggy. It's very heavy. It's very, very heavy.
okay?
I could see you being into it.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Alrighty, mate. What's
Maybe
your
I'll...
number 11?
So my number 11 is a band that I don't think you listen to very often. I know you did like briefly, maybe back in high school. Pantera.
Oh, of course I listen to Pantera. Still
Oh,
listen
did
to
you?
them. Yeah. I
I
listen
didn't
to
know that.
Cowboys from Hell like every now and again.
Well, that's the album.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Nice sort of transition there. Then, yeah, I love this album.
Yeah.
Again, another debut album. Even though I'm pretty sure they were like a glam metal band before
I was gonna say so
this album.
they sort of tried to hide the original music they do. This is
Yeah,
where the
I've never heard their stuff post pre Cowboys from Hell.
I checked out one song one time. It's pretty shit. It's pretty bad.
It's it's almost the best transition of all time. Like from that to then like the
Yeah.
real like
It's like
chunky.
it's like they were somehow worse than like Motley Crue. I didn't even think that was possible, but
It it's pretty hard.
yeah.
um, Jesus. Yeah. Cowboys from Hell's my favorite song. I think it's a great opener.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's something about this album that yeah, I listened to it a lot in high school, and there's some people might start to see a bit of a trend here. It's all the albums I loved in high school that I've just kind of
Yeah,
latched onto, I guess, just held
yeah,
onto. But for a good reason though, I really enjoy this album. It's a lot of fun. It's one of those metal albums that I know every song pretty well. I put it on and just I don't know. Um, it almost just goes to the back of my mind in a way as
yeah,
well. I love Dimebag Darrell.
yeah.
I actually think he's underrated as a metal guitarist. I actually don't think he's spoken about enough.
I would say he's pretty perfectly rated. He's talked about like amongst the guitar people, he's pretty spoken about.
You reckon?
I feel, yeah. I would say he's perfectly
Okay.
rated, in my opinion, but I can understand
Okay.
why you say he's underrated, though. It's like you could be talking about him more because he is that good, or was that
Mm,
good, unfortunately.
yeah. They've all died now, pretty much. I know that Vinny
No,
died.
Vinny and Dime, Phil and Selmo, and I can't remember the bass player's name. They're still going.
Rex.
Rex. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they recently, like not first. They did it not first earlier this year. They came to Australia. I just call it Pantera and Friends, but they got Zach
Yep.
Wild in place of Dimebag Darrell, which I thought
Yeah.
was a pretty good selection. Couldn't tell you who's the
Yeah.
drummer, but
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah. Again, pretty similar to Rage Against the Machine. Just
Probably heavier. Yeah.
no, as in like they peaked on their debut and just apart from the odd
I
song
don't know.
on
What the
follow-up albums.
Vulgar
I
Display
do
of
like
Power
Vulgar
is
Display of
pretty
Power.
damn good.
It is
And
it is a great album, but I don't think it's as good as Cowboys from Hell though.
what's the blue one with the skull? I can't remember the name of it.
Far Beyond Driven, is it?
That one. Those three, I would say that they got them three. And after that, like Great Southern Trend Kills, that one with the snake on it, is
Yeah.
something. It's interesting. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. There's a couple good tracks on that
Yeah.
album, but it's yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I really enjoy this album. It's just fun. It's one of those albums I just have a lot of fun when I listen to it.
Yeah.
Domination inspired one of our
I
Valhalla
was just
songs.
about to bring that up. Yes. Time.
Yeah, Time. Yeah,
The
yeah.
ending of Time. Yeah.
We wrote a song called Time. Yeah, that was kind of followed the ending of Domination. How it was just drums,
Yeah.
just doing a
Drums and
steady beat.
bass.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah.
I think Domination is obviously the better song.
Mm,
It's
mm.
a total Cosmo.
They didn't download a non-copywritten clock and put that at the start of their part of Domination, though, did they?
royalty-free clock.
Yeah. It needed it though.
Yeah,
It
it is
needed
cool because it acted like because you found the perfect like tempo, which was basically like the metronome to the beginning of the song, which is actually pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah. Did we keep to that tempo for the entirety of the song, or was it just the start and then we just
I think
kind
it
of
was just the
slowly
chart,
lost
and then
it?
I think it sort of ebbs and flows throughout the song. I think the chorus slows down a bit, and I think the ending slowed down a bit. So
Right. Okay.
I don't know, it's been quite a while since I've heard the song, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I can still hear the riff in my
Yeah,
head,
me too.
but yeah,
Yeah. So can I.
yeah,
No, that's all right. Yeah. So that rounds out our
yeah.
up to
First
number 11.
10.
So
Yeah,
yeah, we'll get into
first half.
the heart and bones of our tops
Yeah.
next time.
Top 10. Very key for that.
Yeah, because I'm starting to turn into just
Yeah.
nothingness.
I think Kimmy
now,
Boy's
so
gone
I
to
probably
you and
will.
has actually destroyed your house. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
You're in
Jesus,
the dark. He's
left
gone
me
to
in the
you
dark.
now.
Yeah, left me in the complete dark. Yeah. Okay. So, thank you, Matt.
Thanks, mate. Thank you, Jordan.
So, and thank you, everyone else. We shall see you soon. Well, maybe in a couple minutes if you're just going straight into the next one, or we'll see you.
See you
as
in
the next
part
one's in.
3 for the top 10.
Number 3.
All right.
Beautiful. Right. Thanks,
Thanks for
guys.
listening, guys.
Cheers, Matt.
See you later. Bye.